Hi, everybody. So I'm at the Legon University Hospital waiting for my results to come back. I'm getting tested to see if I have COVID 19. In a nutshell, I had dinner with a friend on Thursday evening. He had a bit of a cold, not a major cold, but he said he had not been feeling well that week and yada yada yada. And I woke up the following morning feeling a bit of a tightness in my chest, which is kind of like the regular symptom I get if I'm catching a cold. And I thought, ugh, you just spent a few hours with this person who has a cold and then you're catching it. Because I'm really, really prone to catching colds and flus and all of that kind of thing. I'm asthmatic, and so I guess that's the kind of thing I'm just not immune to. And then yesterday afternoon, I'm sitting in the bank and chatting with my friend, telling him, okay, I'm beginning to feel paranoid because the friend that I had dinner with is a diplomat, and I'm realizing that, he had dinner. I had heard the story that there was somebody from Norway who had been confirmed as the person who had one of the viruses. And so I was saying to my friend, Kobe Graham, oh, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned his name. I'm sure he won't mind. That before I sent him a message, we were supposed to have writing dates. We have writing dates on Fridays. I said to my niece, go to the bank. I'll be late. And later I was like, you know what? Let's not meet. Because I was thinking, even if I have a cold, I don't want to give it to him so he gives it to son. That was my first thought. So I'm in the bank messaging him saying, yeah, I'm a bit worried because I had this person who has the virus came from Norway, and the friend I was with was actually at an International Women's Day event at the Norwegian ambassador's house. And then he sent me a message back saying, you know that the person who has the virus is the Norwegian ambassador. And I'm like, oh, shit. No, no, no. And so here I am in the bank, trying not to panic, wanted to get my stuff over and done with to leave. But I was still gonna have to take an Uber home. And normally I get Uber Select because I get hot, so I like the air condition. So on my way back, I'm sorry, I had no choice but to take an Uber home. Like there was no other way to get home. If I took Trotro, I would endanger more people. So I just took a regular Uber with the windows, kept the windows down, sort of sanitized my hand, went home and stayed home. And in fact, I got home and then I called the helpline. And when I called the helpline, I described everything to them. They said, we'll send somebody to your house to take a sample. What's your number? I gave my number. This was around 2:30. Waited. Heard from nobody. So, yeah, eventually I went to bed around 11 this morning. I was like, okay, let me call the helpline again. I called the helpline. Nobody picked up. Messaged a friend to get the number of a contact that I knew he had at Noguchi because I knew that was the one place where you could get tested. So I messaged the guy there. And he said, go to either Legon Hospital or Ridge Hospital and they'll take samples from you and send it to us. And I was just like, but I thought you guys said we should not go to a hospital. So I thought, okay, at least Legon Hospital is closer to me. I reckon it'll be less busy than Ridge. And so I thought, let me just call Legon Hospital. Let me not just turn up. So I called up. They're like, yeah, come. When you come, tell the security guy at the gate and he'll tell you where to go. What was reassuring is when I got to Legon Hospital, they had a sort of temporary station set up. And there was a nurse there wearing a mask, like a full mask like this. And I told her what the situation was, so she had me sit somewhere at a bit of a distance. Took my temperature wasn't high. And then eventually somebody else came, and that person was like way more guarded. They were like, get her a mask. So that's why nobody had given me a mask. I had a scarf around me, so I was trying to use this. I'm not coughing or anything, but I was like, let me keep the scarf around me. If for any reason I need to cough, I can cough into the scarf. So yeah, when the other person came, like things ramped up in terms of seriousness. She had me walk on the other side of the road. If somebody was coming near me, she was like, no, cross over to the other side of the road. It felt weird as fuck, but anyway, I'm like, actually, what about it? And then she sort of directed me. She was kind of walking a bit behind me, directed me to this building on the far end, and I've been there now for a couple of hours. They've taken my sample. It was so funny. The guy taking my sample, when I took it, he asked, I had to take off the mask because they take a sample by doing like a swab, like at the back of your throat. So uncomfortable. So he was like, take out your tongue. And then every time I try to take a sample, my tongue will go back in. And he's like, I'm not doing it deliberately. Anyway, to cut this long story short, he was like, are you a celebrity? I'm like, no. He's like, you look famous. Are you on TV? And it's so funny. I get this question all of the time. I think it may be people who may know me because of the blog. I think generally that's what it is, but they always think I'm somebody on TV. I'm like, nah, I don't think so, but I'm a blogger, so maybe that's where you know me from. And I'm like, okay, what happens now? And he's like, wait, the nurse will come and see you. Of course, the nurse is like, ooh, no, okay, I can't pick up the call. My security guard is calling. I'm worried for my dogs. I left them in the compound. I will call him back after this video. Anyway, so yes, so the nurse will come and see. Eventually, the nurse comes. Anytime the nurse comes, she's standing at a distance. Like she's like 3 rooms away, shouting at me. I don't blame the poor woman. And she's like, wait, we're trying to call Rage. We're trying to sort out something. I'm like, I don't understand, because initially when I first came, they said, are you ready to be quarantined, or will you go home and self-quarantine? I'm like, I'll go home and self-quarantine. I live on my own. It's easy for me to self-quarantine. But clearly they changed their mind, which I also understand. And then after a while she came back and she was like, wait, our in charge wants to see you. I've been waiting for like an hour and a half for this in charge person to come. Eventually, the in charge person has come and they said, I need to wait until they get the results. And if I am negative, then I am free to go home. So, fingers crossed that I am negative. But I'd rather be here, you know. And I'd rather not put more people at risk if there's any chance that I have this. And yes, I will encourage anybody who knows that they have had contact with somebody, like if you're not feeling well or whatever. I'm not sick, like maybe you can tell, but I do feel like I have phlegm in my chest. And yeah, I know I'm not 100%. I feel like I am 80%, you know, and I want to be safe rather than sorry. So hopefully the next updates you get from me will be saying, I am fine. But if not, Shelly, it's been real, people.